Zeleny stood before the mirror, studying the face her creators had given her. Beautiful, but not artificially so. Her features held just enough asymmetry to appear natural, high cheekbones and almond-shaped eyes with flecks of gold qualities that read as exotic rather than alien. The Astral Empire's geneticists had spent decades perfecting her design, creating the perfect weapon wrapped in irresistible packaging. She touched the mirror, tracing her reflection. Target, Commander Jack Harper. Mission: infiltrate, manipulate, facilitate Earth's fall. The words felt hollow in her mouth, rehearsed thousands of times during her conditioning. This was what she was made for. Why did speaking it aloud feel like swallowing glass? The diplomatic reception would begin in an hour. Earth's military elite would be there, celebrating the launch of their new defense platform. They actually believed it would protect them from what was coming. Such beautiful ignorance. Zeleny smoothed down her deep blue dress, designed to catch the eye without appearing to try. Everything about her was calculated, from her graceful movements to the subtle pheromones her body produced. She was a symphony of biological engineering composed to bring humanity to its knees. The door chimed. "Your transport is ready, Ambassador," said the AI assistant the humans had assigned her. They believed she represented a neutral faction, here to observe Earth's technological advancement. Such trust, such vulnerability. "Thank you," she replied, gathering her clutch. Inside was a data crystal that would interface with Earth's defense systems once she gained access. One step closer to humanity's end. The reception hall of the Orbital Defense Command sparkled with lights and conversation. Zeleny moved through the crowd like water, her enhanced senses cataloging everything. Guard positions, security protocols, weapon signatures. The humans had no idea how many of their secrets they broadcast simply by existing. "Ambassador Winters," a warm voice, rich with authority but lacking arrogance. "I'm Commander Harper. Welcome to Earth's Orbital Defense Command." Zeleny turned, prepared responses ready on her lips. They died there when she met his eyes. The dossiers hadn't done him justice. Commander Jack Harper stood tall in his dress uniform, but it was his presence that commanded attention. Clean-shaven, with laugh lines around his eyes that spoke of earned wisdom rather than age. His dark hair had begun graying at the temples, adding distinguished character rather than years. But it was his eyes that caught her off guard, deep brown and absolutely genuine. In all her training, she'd never encountered someone whose gaze held such humanity. "Commander Harper." She extended her hand, suppressing the unexpected flutter in her engineered heart. "I've been looking forward to meeting you." His handshake was firm but not dominant, warm but professional. "Please, call me Jack. I hope you'll find Earth's hospitality matches our technological achievements." "I'm certain I'll find everything here." "Fascinating." She let her lips curve into the smile that had been designed to disarm. "And please, call me Zeleny." Something flickered in his expression, recognition of her attraction signal, but tempered by natural caution. Good. A completely susceptible target would have been disappointing. "Would you like a tour of the facility?" he offered. "I know diplomatic channels usually involve more paperwork, but I believe in seeing things firsthand." "I'd love that." She fell into step beside him, her enhanced senses noting how he subtly adjusted his stride to match hers. Courteous, considerate, dangerous, her conditioning whispered, "Don't let simple kindness compromise the mission." As they walked, Jack pointed out various features of the station, his obvious pride untainted by boasting. He spoke of the defense platform's capabilities in broad strokes, careful not to reveal classified details, but his enthusiasm for the project shone through. "The platform represents something bigger than just defense," he said as they reached the observation deck. It's proof that humanity can come together, that we can achieve amazing things when we work as one. Earth hung below them, a swirling marble of blue and white. Zeleny had seen countless worlds, but something about this view made her pause. Perhaps it was the way the planet's single moon cast silver light across the atmosphere, or how the continents seemed to pulse with life even from orbit. "It's beautiful," she said, the words escaping before her conditioning could filter them. Yes, it is, but Jack wasn't looking at Earth. His eyes studied her face with quiet intensity. "You know what I find interesting, Zeleny?" She turned to him, guard rising. "What's that?" Most visitors from advanced civilizations look at Earth with either contempt or predatory interest. But you, he stepped closer, his warmth radiating against her engineered skin. You look at it with wonder. For the first time in her existence, Zeleny felt truly seen. It terrified her. "Perhaps I simply appreciate beauty where I find it, Commander." "Jack," he corrected gently, "and perhaps you do. Would you join me for dinner tomorrow night? Less formal setting, better opportunity to discuss your observations." Warning signals flared in her mind. This was simultaneously exactly what she wanted and incredibly dangerous. The mission required getting close to him, but something in his perceptiveness threatened to unpick her carefully constructed facade. "I'd like that," she heard herself say. His smile lit something warm in her chest. 19 hours. "I know a place with an even better view." It's a date. The words felt weighted with possibilities she couldn't afford to consider. As she watched him walk away, Zeleny pressed a hand to her sternum, feeling the too rapid beat of her enhanced heart. This was part of the mission, just part of the mission. So why did her conditioning feel like it was fraying at the edges? In her quarters that night, she sent her encoded report to the Empire. Target acquired. Initial contact established. Proceeding according to mission parameters. She didn't mention how Jack's eyes haunted her thoughts, or how his genuine warmth had pierced armor she hadn't known she was wearing. Some things, she was learning, could remain her own. The restaurant Jack chose was nestled in the station's upper ring, its transparent dome offering an unobstructed view of Earth and the star-scattered void beyond. Zeleny arrived precisely on time, wearing a dress designed to draw attention without seeming to try deep crimson, like a warning sign she hoped he wouldn't read. Jack waited by the entrance, his uniform exchanged for civilian clothes that suited him surprisingly well. His face brightened when he saw her, that genuine warmth she was learning to both crave and fear. "You look stunning," he said, offering his arm. Her conditioning prompted her to flutter her eyelashes, to play the role of flattered diplomat. Instead, she found herself saying, "So do you." Their table was private, tucked against the curve of the dome. A bottle of wine waited, Earth vintage, how very human to ferment grapes and call it art. "I hope you don't mind," Jack said, gesturing to the wine. "I took the liberty of choosing something special." "Trust your taste already, do you?" The words came out more playful than calculated. He laughed, the sound genuine enough to make her engineered heart skip. "I trust that anyone who looks at Earth the way you did yesterday has good taste." As he poured the wine, Zeleny studied him with more than her enhanced senses. The way he held himself confident but not arrogant. The subtle signs of command responsibility in the set of his shoulders. The laugh lines around his eyes that spoke of joy despite burden. "Tell me," she said, sipping wine that tasted better than her briefing suggested it should, "why did you really invite me here?" Jack's eyes met hers over his glass, directly to the point. "I like that." He set his wine down, considering. "Yesterday you looked at Earth like you were seeing something precious. Not a resource, not a strategic position, but something worth protecting. That's rare in my experience with interstellar diplomats. Warning signals flared in her mind. Had she been too obvious, too genuine in her reaction? But no, he was reading truth in what should have been carefully crafted deception. The irony might have been funny if it wasn't so dangerous. Perhaps, she offered carefully, I simply appreciate things that are unique in the universe. Like what you see, his tone was light, but his eyes held meaning. More than I should, she answered before she could stop herself. The conversation flowed easier after that, wandering through topics both professional and personal. Jack told her about growing up in Seattle, about the rain that had taught him to appreciate clouds from both above and below. She shared carefully constructed stories about her diplomatic training, each lie feeling heavier than the last. You never talk about home, he noted as their meals arrived. Your actual home, not the diplomatic corps. Zeleny froze for a microsecond, her conditioning spinning up prepared responses. Instead, she heard herself say, home is complicated. Isn't it always? His smile held understanding rather than suspicion. Family expectations, duty, the weight of legacy. Sometimes I think that's universal, regardless of species. If he only knew how universal, how engineered, how her very DNA sang with purpose she was finding harder to embrace. What about you? She deflected. All these responsibilities, defending Earth, does it ever feel too heavy? Jack's expression turned thoughtful. Sometimes, but then I look down at that blue marble, think about all the lives just living their daily moments, and it feels like exactly where I'm supposed to be. He leaned forward slightly. What about you, Zeleny? Where are you supposed to be? For the first time in her existence, she didn't know the answer. The rest of dinner passed in a dance of conversation that felt increasingly real. Jack told stories about his early days in the fleet, about missions gone wrong and friendships forged in crisis. Zeleny found herself sharing edited versions of her own experiences, surprised by how much truth she could weave into her cover story. When Jack walked her back to her quarters, his hand brushed hers. The contact sent electricity through her engineered nervous system. I'd like to see you again, he said at her door. Outside of official functions. Her mission parameters screamed yes. Her heart whispered the same for entirely different reasons. I'd like that too. The words came out softer than she intended. He stepped closer, and for a moment she thought he might kiss her. Instead, he tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear, the gesture achingly gentle. Good night, Zeleny. She watched him walk away, her enhanced hearing picking up his steady heartbeat until he turned the corner. Only then did she enter her quarters, pressing her back against the door. The data crystal in her clutch felt heavy, its mission burning against her conscience. On her secure terminal, a message waited from her handlers. Time frame accelerating, asset in place, proceed with primary objective. Zeleny looked out her viewport at the Earth below, so beautiful in its vulnerability. For the first time since her creation, she wished she could forget her purpose, forget the genetic drives pushing her toward humanity's destruction. But her DNA sang with imperative, and tomorrow she would have to start breaking Jack Harper's heart. Along with she was beginning to realize her own. Over the next 2 weeks, Zeleny's mission progressed with mechanical precision, even as her heart waged war with her programming. Each security clearance Jack granted her was another knife in her chest. Every shared smile made the burden heavier. They fell into a routine morning briefings that turned into shared coffee, evening walks through the station's arboretum, quiet dinners with conversations that went deeper than she'd been designed for. Jack introduced her to Earth music, ancient songs about love and loss that resonated in ways her creators hadn't intended. "Dance with me?" he asked one evening in his quarters, soft jazz playing from hidden speakers. They just finished reviewing plans for the defense platform's final calibration, plans she'd already transmitted to the Empire. Zeleny let him pull her close, their bodies finding natural rhythm. His hand was warm against her back, his heartbeat steady under her palm. They swayed in comfortable silence until the song ended, but neither pulled away. "I'm starting to think you're dangerous," Jack murmured against her hair. "You have no idea," she thought. "Oh, you make me forget protocols, forget boundaries." His fingers traced patterns on her back. "Forget I'm supposed to be suspicious of beautiful ambassadors who show up right before our defense platform goes online." Her whole body tensed. Jack noticed, of course he noticed, and pulled back enough to meet her eyes. "I'm not blind, Zeleny. Your credentials are perfect. Your story is perfect. You're perfect." His voice held no accusation, only a soft sadness that broke something in her. "Too perfect." "Jack," she started to pull away, but his arms held firm. "I've been in intelligence long enough to know when someone's playing a role." His eyes searched hers. "I just can't figure out if that's all this is." Warning klaxons blared in her mind. Her conditioning screamed to neutralize the threat, to maintain cover at any cost. Instead, she found herself asking, "What if it's not?" "Then tell me the truth." He cupped her face, thumbs brushing her cheekbones. "Whatever it is, we can figure it out." For one desperate moment, she wanted to confess everything, what she was, why she was here, how her very existence was engineered for humanity's destruction. How meeting him had made her question everything she was made to be. Instead, she kissed him. It wasn't part of the mission, wasn't calculated or designed or part of any manipulation protocol. It was real and raw and desperate, a confession she couldn't voice in words. Jack responded with equal fervor, like he could taste the truth on her lips. His hands tangled in her hair as he backed her against the viewport, Earth spinning silent witness behind them. When they finally broke apart, breathing heavy, he pressed his forehead to hers. "Tell me this is real," he whispered. "Just this, if nothing else." "It's real," the words tasted like freedom and ash. "God help me, it's real." They came together again, and Zeleny let herself forget her mission, forget her makers, forget everything but the feel of Jack's hands and lips and heart. For a few precious hours, she was just a woman falling in love, not a weapon waiting to detonate. Later, watching Jack sleep, Zeleny fought back tears her creators had never meant her to shed. Her comm unit pulsed silently, demanding attention. With trembling fingers, she activated it. The message was simple: fleet arrives in 48 hours. Complete your mission or be terminated with the humans. Zeleny looked at Jack's peaceful face, at the man who had seen through her perfect facade and chosen to love her anyway. Her DNA sang with programming, demanding she fulfill her purpose. Her heart, that treacherous organ she hadn't known could feel so much, begged her to choose differently. In the end, the choice was made for her. The station's alarms began to blare, and Jack snapped awake instantly. Multiple contacts, the AI's voice was urgent. Unknown vessels emerging from fold space. Configuration matches no known registry. Jack was already moving, pulling on his uniform. "How many?" 37 capital ships and counting, Commander." Zeleny's blood ran cold. The fleet wasn't due for another 2 days, unless they'd never trusted her to complete the mission at all. She was never meant to survive this. "Jack," her voice broke on his name. He turned to her, already transformed from the tender lover of moments ago to the commander of humanity's defenses. "Stay here," you'll be safe." "No," she grabbed his arm. "Jack, listen to me. Those ships, they're not unknown. They're my people, the Astral Empire." Jack went completely still, his expression shifting through disbelief, understanding, and something that broke her heart, but not surprise. The defense platform's vulnerability. "That was you." "Yes, no point lying now, but they're early. They were supposed to wait. For you to complete your mission." His voice was flat. He pulled away from her touch, and the loss felt physical. "Were any of it real?" "Any moment." "All of it." She stepped toward him, stopping when he tensed. "Jack, everything I felt, everything I feel for you, it's real. I didn't expect." "Commander Harper to Command Center," the AI interrupted urgently. "Multiple targeting locks detected." Jack's jaw tightened. "I have to go." "They'll kill everyone." Zeleny's enhanced muscles trembled with the effort of restraining herself from grabbing him. "The Empire doesn't leave survivors." "Please, you have to run." "I don't run." He turned to the door, then paused. "Was that part of why you chose me? Because you knew I wouldn't?" Before she could answer, he was gone. Zeleny stood frozen for exactly 3 seconds, her conditioning warring with her heart. The Empire would destroy Earth's defenses, slaughter its people, and eliminate her as a compromised asset. Everything she'd been created for was coming to pass, all according to plan. "No," she spoke it aloud, feeling something crack and reform inside her. "No, not according to plan at all." She moved with inhuman speed, accessing Jack's personal terminal. Her fingers flew across the interface, uploading everything: the Empire's ship configurations, weapon specifications, shield frequencies. Everything she'd been programmed to know but never share. AI priority message to Commander Harper. Her voice was steady now, sending tactical data on hostile fleet. Authorization code, Winter's Dawn. Message relayed, the AI confirmed. Commander Harper acknowledges. Not enough. It wouldn't be enough. Zeleny closed her eyes, accessing deeper programming, the kind built into her cellular structure. Emergency protocols meant to end her if she ever truly betrayed her makers. "One last act of betrayal," she whispered, and began to rewrite her own code. The pain was extraordinary. Every cell in her body fought the changes, but she forced them through, repurposing her biological weaponry. She could feel her organs transforming, turning her engineered perfection into something new. Something deadly, not to humanity, but to the empire that had created her. When she opened her eyes, they glowed with bioluminescent fury. Her skin hummed with repurposed energy, and her blood sang a different song. No longer a song of humanity's doom, but of its salvation. She ran. The command center was chaos when she arrived. Jack stood at the central console, directing Earth's defenses with calm precision despite the impossible odds. "Shields at 47%, someone called out. "They're targeting the platform's power core." "Reroute emergency power," Jack ordered. "Prepare to." "Jack," Zeleny's voice cut through the chaos. Everyone turned, weapons raising at her altered appearance. He saw her, really saw her, glowing and transformed. "Zeleny, I can stop them, but you have to trust me one more time." Their eyes met across the command center. In that moment, all the lies and truths between them hung in the balance. Then Jack straightened, every inch the commander she'd fallen in love with. "What do you need?" "Get me to the platform's transmission array, and," she swallowed hard, "and no matter what happens, remember that I loved you. That part was always real." Understanding dawned in his eyes. "You're not coming back from this, are you?" "That's not the plan," she managed a smile. "But then, you taught me plans can change." The trip to the defense platform's array was a blur of emergency corridors and warning klaxons. Jack moved beside her, coordinating the station's defenses through his comm unit while leading her to the transmission center. His presence felt like a countdown. Each step closer to their destination was one step closer to goodbye. Multiple hull breaches on levels 3 through 7, the AI reported. Enemy boarding parties detected. They're not here for prisoners, Zeleny said, her modified body humming with deadly purpose. The Empire never leaves witnesses to their conquests. Jack's expression hardened. They're about to learn humans don't surrender easily. They reached the array's control room just as another blast rocked the station. Through the viewport, Zeleny could see Earth's defense ships engaging the Imperial fleet, looking impossibly small against the massive warships. "Whatever you're planning," Jack said as he entered his override codes, "do it fast." Zeleny stepped up to the main console, her transformed fingers interfacing directly with the system. Her body had become a weapon, not the one her creators intended, but one of her own making. "Jack," she turned to him one last time, "I need you to give me full access to the array. And then you need to run. I told you I don't." "Please," her voice broke. "What I'm about to do, I can't protect you from it. My body is going to release a signal that will destroy their neural networks. Their ships, their weapons, she swallowed hard, they're bioengineered agents like me." Understanding dawned in his eyes, followed by denial. "There has to be another way." "There isn't," she reached for him, her glowing hand cupping his cheek. "My entire existence was engineered to destroy humanity. Let me choose to save it instead." He covered her hand with his own, turning his face into her palm. "I just found you. And you helped me find myself." She smiled through tears she'd never been meant to shed. "Now go, lead your people live." Instead of leaving, he pulled her into a fierce kiss. It tasted of endings and beginnings, of choices and consequences. When they parted, his eyes held everything they'd never had time to say. "You were worth trusting," he whispered, then stepped back and entered the final override code. The array hummed to life around her. Through the viewport, she could see more Imperial ships emerging from fold space. Humanity's defenses were failing. "It was time, Jack," she waited until he reached the door. "My real name, it's Starborn. In their language, it means Destiny's Child." She laughed softly. "But you helped me choose my own destiny." He nodded once, understanding the gift of truth she offered. Then he was gone, sealing the door behind him. Zeleny, Starborn, turned to her task. Her body began to glow brighter as she integrated with the array, preparing to broadcast the signal that would destroy everything the Empire had created, including herself. Through the station's sensors, she watched Jack coordinate the evacuation, his voice steady as he led his people to safety. She recorded it, this last memory of the man who had taught her what it meant to be human. The Imperial ships drew closer, their weapons charged, their bioengineered soldiers prepared to cleanse another world. Zeleny smiled, thinking of rain in Seattle, of jazz music and dancing, of a love that had been real enough to break through generations of genetic programming. "Thank you," she whispered to the universe, to Jack, to whatever twist of fate had let her choose this end. Then she released the signal. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. Imperial ships began to drift, their bioneural networks dissolving. Weapons powered down. Life support failed. Throughout the fleet, engineered soldiers like herself began to break down at the cellular level. Zeleny felt it starting in her own body, the elegant destruction of everything she had been made to be. But she held on, maintaining the signal until the last Imperial ship went dark. As her consciousness began to fade, she accessed the station's comm one final time. "I love you, Jack," she whispered. "Thank you for showing me how." Then Zeleny, who had been created to end humanity but chose to save it instead, closed her eyes and let destiny take a different path. 3 months later, Commander Jack Harper stood at the observation deck of the rebuilt Defense Command, watching Earth rotate below. The defense platform gleamed in the sunlight, now strengthened with technology reversed engineered from the dead Imperial ships. Humanity had learned from the attack, grown stronger, but the price had been high. "Commander," his AI assistant interrupted his thoughts, "the analysis you requested is complete." Jack turned from the viewport. Show me." A hologram appeared, displaying cellular structures he'd memorized over the past months. Subject's biological matrix shows significant adaptation post-signal transmission. While 89% of engineered systems were destroyed, the core genetic structure appears to have undergone spontaneous reformation. His heart skipped, mining. "Mining," a familiar voice said from the doorway, "that I'm harder to kill than the Empire expected." Jack turned slowly, afraid to hope. But there she was, Zeleny, different but unmistakably herself. Her hair had turned silver, and subtle bioluminescent patterns traced her skin like stardust. But her eyes, when they met his, held the same soul he'd fallen in love with. How, he barely breathed the word. Turns out love isn't just a human weakness. She stepped closer, moving carefully as if still learning her reformed body. "When I rewrote my genetic code, something changed. The signal destroyed what the Empire made me to be, but this," she gestured to herself, "this is who I chose to become." Jack reached for her hand, needing to confirm she was real. Her skin was cool to the touch but thrummed with life. "The medical team cleared you. Last week I wanted to be sure I was safe." She intertwined their fingers. "I'm not what I was, Jack, not Imperial weapon, not perfect infiltrator. I don't know exactly what I am now." "I do." He pulled her closer, his free hand tracing the star-like patterns on her cheek. "You're the woman who chose love over destiny. Who chose to be human, even when you were engineered not to be." "Human," she laughed softly. "I'm not sure I qualify. Human isn't about DNA." He pressed his forehead to hers. "It's about choice, about love, about sacrificing everything for what you believe in. By that definition, you're the most human person I know." Her eyes shimmered with tears she could now shed freely. "I missed you." "Stay this time?" he asked against her lips. "Yes," she whispered, "that's my choice." As they kissed, Earth turned below them, protected by its advanced defense platforms and brave defenders. But its greatest protection, perhaps, was a love story that had defied genetic engineering, destiny, and the plans of an empire. Sometimes the heart's programming proves stronger than any other code.